Yo, we're talking about mental space. It's this concept that within your mind, within your brain, there is this intangible area where you have a finite amount of space to navigate through life. It is this idea where when your mental space is cluttered, when your mental space is full, that space is taken up with ideas, with thoughts, with worries, anxieties, even goals and aspirations, it becomes bogged down. It becomes harder to make good decisions because just like computers, our brains are like these beautiful supercomputers, right? Just like computers, we have a finite amount of storage space. We have a finite amount of processing power. And when the bar of your storage on your laptop or your phone gets to maximum gigabytes or terabytes, whatever you have, you'll notice that your computer starts to lag. Your videos buffer slower, your downloads download exponentially slower. And the same thing happens with our minds. When our minds are bogged down by all of this noise and thought clutter, we can't make good decisions for ourselves. Even if someone comes and presents information as this is the solution to what you are feeling and what you are going through, you might be able to hear them, but you might not be able to listen. And you might not be able to then reflect upon that information because there's no space to reflect with. Therefore, you will not be able to take action with that information to improve your life. So it's this very negative cycle where the more clutter and the more mental space you're taking up, especially with things that are not from your own creation, like expectations and roles and responsibilities, you have very little mental space for yourself. You have very little mental space to live the life that you want to live, right? You're living all of these other lives, even though you're just a single person, all of these other thought processes, all these other storylines in a sense, trying to fulfill this role or this expectation or this responsibility or this obligation. And you're here in the middle of it all and you're like, well, what about me? Like, what about myself? And as selfish as it may seem, the only way to live a very happy life is for you to fill your own cup first. I call it living selfishly selfless. You fill your own cup, right? You've heard of that analogy where fill your cup first and it will overflow into everyone else's. Don't fill up someone else's cup and leave your cup empty, because then what are you filling their cup with? Low quality energy, low quality offerings. And how does that help that other person, right? And again, easier said than done. When you're cluttered, sometimes giving makes you feel good, and that feeling is what you seek, because you're so caught up in the clutter that you have no space to make intentional, proactive decisions. So coming back into the analogy, fill your own cup first, homie. Fill your own cup first so that it naturally overflows into everyone else's cups who are around you in your circle, in your friend group, in your family, in your work environment, wherever it is you are. Fill your own cup first. Declutter your mental space. And how do we do that? Words. Use your words, whether that be written, whether that be verbally, or whether that be mentally, through purely reflection, right? Journaling. Oh my gosh. Journaling is the best way to do it, because it requires nobody other than yourself and your own intentional energy and creation of time and space, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, for you to get rid of all the clunk, the glunk, the gunk, making up words here, that exists in your mental space, right? Get that storage bar free. Right now, if the speaker is your storage bar and all of this 80% is backed up, that leaves 20% for you in your life. How do we flip that? How do we get it to be 80% for you in your life and have the rest be free, right? That 80% is free. That 80% is mental clarity, that space for you to decide what you want to do with it. You don't need to free up your mental space to then go allocate it somewhere else, because then it just fills back up, right? You want to have that mental space because imagine what you can do with a clear mind. Imagine what your brain, your personal supercomputer, can do with free space. And don't go ahead and fill it up with some other random stuff. Use that space to reflect. Use that space to find clarity and to build a space for reflection and to build and design your life in the way you want it to, so that when you are ready to take on more responsibilities, more expectations, you're only doing so with roles and expectations that you actually want to fulfill, challenges that you know you can overcome, dreams that you want to come true, not other people's dreams, not other people's expectations, your dreams, right? So take the time to use your words in whatever format that is, talk to your homies, write in your journal, reflect by yourself, and free up that mental space, because that is the first step in providing yourself with a strong foundation for living a life fulfilled. And if this resonated with you and you have a homie who is going through it, or you yourself want just a space to share and communicate with other people, jump into my free community. It is AKA the Professional Homies, and it is right down the link in the description below. It is a men's community built for supporting each other, connecting with one another, and learning how to share our stories together. And I promise I made it a vibe. So anyways, have a great rest of your day, you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.